So you know how your dad had my mom download Snapchat? She's so confused. She's like, why do I always see my face when I turn it on?
I'm not sure who's all coming this time around, but when we're done.
Why not?
Some people are coming starting next week. Some people are
Did
coming
you
starting this week.
text Haley? I forgot to talk to her about. My mom said she talked to her dad and her work drive through. Oh.
I sent everybody an email on, what was it, Wednesday or Thursday morning?
He said email, so he said he didn't get it, so then my mom told him about it,
Oh.
so it's all good.
Well, except for I'll have to double check the emails then. Yeah, okay, all right. We'll get that sorted out.
So she should be coming.
Okay. Well, we'll get it sorted out. Yeah, we have 4 students coming, triplets, 2 girls and a boy, plus their older brother. Those are the Van Pelts, if you know them. They will be joining us, so we're gonna have more tables.
I love how all of them are like the only 3 tables left are the ones that are not even close to each other.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So if I gotta add, let's see, we have the original 3 plus 2 more
What?
plus 4 more.
Oh.
The second years are you and Haley and you. And then we got the, yeah, I still need to have more tables. More tables. I want lots of space so you don't leave your mask on the whole time you're here, just because if you're like me anyway, I think that gets annoying.
I already took mine off.
Yeah. And as long as we have 1 person per table, we're okay. And I would rather do it that way. I'll have to figure out what I do when I have to add probably 2 more tables. Yeah, please.
Do you want to know when I was baptized?
There's another sheet there, right there.
Oh, there is.
Here, let me get you, you know what I didn't get you guys is pencils, so.
I have my pen.
All right. Remember what NASA versus the Russians, right? The Russians.
Russians brought a
Brought a
pencil.
pencil, that's right. NASA spent literally hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get a pen that would write in space and upside down and no gravity, and the Russians brought a pencil. Sometimes simple is better. Sometimes. Just gotta figure it out. All right, okay. I'll thank you for letting me know Haley didn't find out. I will get a hold of them somehow and make sure they do find out. Maybe
My mom told them about it.
All right, okay, yeah, but I I sent a bunch of stuff out, so.
Haley, come sit next to me.
I think I have bad contact information for you. I'm sorry you didn't get stuff. We'll get that sorted out. Those who were here last week, you don't have to do it over unless you've got more information. But the student information sheet that's in front of you, fill that out. Let me just make sure I've got all the right stuff. You need a pen or pencil, there's one here. Let's start with that. And just give me all the right information so we can get that organized. If you missed last week, don't worry, it was not the most important class we will ever have. It was mostly just talking about what you already know, right? All the, the handbook stuff and 50 things and all that, excitement and craziness. You can take your mask off in here if you care to. That's why we're all split up on one table apiece. I'm trying to think of, now I don't remember who's all, let's see, Alana is not here. Maki should be.
You mean Dory?
I mean, I want to do that. Yes, Dory should be here. I have to go to lunch with Kametsu anyway, Pastor Alana, and we usually, when we go to lunch, we usually talk for like 3 or 4 hours. And just trying to figure out things we can do to kind of kind of grow a church. You know what I would actually like to do is start a whole new one that is specifically geared toward kind of, confirmation age and older, and actually ask you what kind of music you like and make it a lot more relaxed. Actually, if you come to, starting next week, if you come to our 11 o'clock service on Sunday here, you'll get a similar taste of that. I guess what I'd like to know, if you come to that service, or you can watch it on streaming, if you like that kind of music or not. Let me know. The people who are coming do like that kind of music, and that's why I'm playing it. But let me know what you like, because we'll see how it goes. And starting next week, the format of that service is going to change a bit, just to make it a little bit not quite so formal and old school church stuff and stuff. So there's that. Let's see. So our protocol here is when you leave, whatever you have to leave for me, just leave on the table, right? So we're going to be moving around. So that way, if somebody has the plague of death, you can just keep it for yourself, and we won't share. And all that stuff. So, like that. There you go. Let's see, what's on? So you got this done. I don't know what else I gave you. Let's see, you got a new copy of the handbook that is specifically about confirmation. That's this thing. So if you had an old one, you can toss it if you care to. This one that's on the table, it's just all the rules, regulations. This is sort of Torah. This is how you get the sleep and breathe confirmation. It's really exciting. I'm going to ask you to do, let's see, this thing. I'm going to ask you to do just 10 of these throughout the year. They can be on any LCMS, Missouri Synod sermon. Doesn't have to be mine. If you can't make it on Sunday, or remember, we also have church on Wednesday at 6:30. If you can't make mine, you can read it online. You can listen to it. There's an MP3 podcast there, or you can actually watch the video from either service. And this isn't the most challenging thing in the universe either, but give me 10 of these at the end of the year. The best thing to do is just do 10 and then be done, because I'll take that. And that's kind of the most important stuff about that.
Why didn't we do it last year?
Because I was being lazy mostly. Last year was just kind of crazy. We were sorting through a bunch of things, and Pastor Milan and I were trying to organize some stuff, and so we just sort of dropped some stuff just because the nature of how to work. Yeah.
Before I forget, I need to talk to you about a day I might not be here.
Okay, no worries. If you remember my rules last year, as long as you tell me before 6 o'clock on the day of class, right? Text me, email me, whatever. Just let me know, and that will be fine. That's actually what the 4 Van Pelt kids did. They said we got a 4-H thing.
That helps?
Yeah.
Over here?
They do now. Yep, they've come back here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know somebody.
Oh, there you go. Happy day.
What about me?
Personally, here, I have to talk to you.
I wonder where Dory is. It's 2 weeks. I wonder if I've got Alana's. He got locked out of his Google account. Like, he accidentally logged out of all of his devices, and you have to be logged into a device to use the 2-factor authentication. So he got locked out. And everything he owns. Fortunately, he had a backup, but I wonder if I'm still emailing to his old address. So I better, and I'll on your student information, you make sure I got the right email address and phone number, and then I will make sure that I'm sending stuff to the right email address for you, and then I better talk to Pastor Lana and get her showing up too. That will be probably helpful. Let's see, catechisms. You got, what Bible did I get? Last year I gave you guys God's Word. Yeah, we're gonna actually upgrade to that one. Some people in church were nice enough to buy those. I've only got 2, so you'll have to fight over them. The other ones will show up by the end of next week. There you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I gave you the one with flowers. You wanted that one, as I recall. We're gonna use that and the catechism more this year than we did last year. We will get back to the three who were here last year. Remember the lessons with the crazy paintings and stuff?
Yeah,
We
them
will.
faces are really confused.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I had a hard time trying to figure out what they were actually about. But we will get back to those. But that lesson collection doesn't cover some of the stuff I want to do as an initial beginning. You know what? I didn't print off any more calendars. How many do I have here? Let's see. Well, I have 3. So I have 2. Here's the calendar. This is kind of what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. So you have that stuff. But the first unit basically is kind of just an introduction to stuff we sort of do in church. I actually was going to get hymnals out here for you, but I didn't do that. Did you guys all bring catechisms by chance? Okay. All right, happy day.
Just
You know what? But the Athanasian Creed is not.
The what? The
The
what?
Athanasian Creed. How can you not know who Athanasius is?
I've
The
never
reason
even
why I
heard
saw how
of
much
it.
I don't know.
Crazy stuff, crazy stuff.
You didn't talk
So-
about it last year.
So no, I didn't. So we're gonna talk about basically, right, this lesson is called, I'll use this stuff since it's not here. In an introduction to confirmation, creeds and confessions answer, who is Jesus? So if I asked you that question, who is Jesus? How would you answer?
Oh, God.
Okay, good, the one true God. Excellent. Who is Jesus? Just some guy. Or what do you think other people would think? What do you think people outside of the church would think? Like, I used to do a lot of stuff at the Ren Fair in Wisconsin, Bristol Renaissance Fair. At the Ren Fair, all the people who work there, who are dressed up like behind counters and stuff, almost all of them are in a druid type faith. That means they believe there's power in rocks and wood, or they're part of the Wiccan religion. They believe that the earth is a goddess named Gaia, or some of them are actually part of a coven, meaning they go to church every week or every so often to worship Lucifer. Honest and for true. And I used to hang out with these folks 10 weekends a year, and I was the Jesus boy. And we had a lot of fun. Actually, really, we had a lot of really good conversations about what we believe in and why we believe it, right? And I can tell you that here's the sad part. Was it most of them? It might have been pretty close. I bet it was at least over half. Had been part of a Christian church, but had been either taught so badly or treated so badly, they decided that can't be the Christian faith can't be right. Almost all of them had left the Christian church for some reason, right? That's what's maybe the most sad, is that they had the truth, but what happened to them at a church caused them to leave that faith, right? And it wasn't like they were, it wasn't something horrible. It was just horrible to find that. They were just not treated well, right? They either weren't welcome or people were rude or very cold, or the pastor was so aloof and maybe judgmental that it just drove them out, right? But if one of the people I hung out with, his name is Steve, he and I talk a lot. He belonged to a coven. He belonged to the second largest satanic church in America. It's right by Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. I can't remember what it is, coven something, I don't remember. But he and I talked a lot. And if you were to ask Stephen, without any other background, who is Jesus? What do you think he would say? He actually went every Friday. He was all about going to church to worship Lucifer. What do you think he would say? Who is Jesus?
Somebody not real.
Not real, maybe? Who do we say Lucifer is? What, devil, yeah, the enemy, right? Yeah, what their religion primarily, and now there's no, there are different groups and sects within that, and they teach a little bit different things, but primarily what they teach is that Lucifer, which means son of the dawn, right? And that's how he's described. Before the fall, he was probably the most powerful being God created. No one was greater than him, than God. And he was so powerful and so regal that he was referred to as the son of the dawn. To look at him was just to behold glory, right? And what's sad is he's become the demon of darkness, if you will, right? The lord of filth. That's what Lucifer means, though. Son of light, or son of the dawn. And what they teach is that they and Jesus are both sons of God, right? That God created, right?
It's
And
just
they're
one
people.
turned out to be better than the other.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's
We
like
got
you and
the
your
oldest
sibling.
child and then we got the youngest child.
There you go. And so Jesus is winning now, but they believe that in the end, the son of the dawn will rise again and he will win. And that's what they teach, right?
Pretty good statement.
So, well, yeah, it sounds good unless you know what the truth is,
Yeah.
except for that part. And so that's what they teach about Jesus. Jesus is the enemy who's beating up their God because he's mean, right? So how about somebody who has been raised in the Wiccan faith? They believe that the planet is a living goddess and we live on her.
What?
Yeah, they actually believe that Gaia, the Mother Earth.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm with you on
Does that
that.
originate from Greek mythology?
I don't think Gaia appears in Greek mythology. Probably not. I'm trying to even think of where that kind of stuff. It doesn't come out of Norse stuff. It doesn't come out of sort of Druid stuff. It's kind of a newer idea that the whole Earth is a living goddess that they worship. I don't know the roots of it.
Oh,
How's that even work?
Well, people do crazy things. Like in Japan, Fuji-san, Mount Fuji, Fuji-san, is referring to the mountain as a god,
yeah.
right? Yeah. In literal old school Japanese, they refer to that volcano as a god who is sleeping, right? So different people worship different things for different reasons. Some people worship the planet. So
So
yeah.
when it wakes up and kills everybody?
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what happens. Volcanoes blow up. The entire Izu Peninsula, this big, huge monster land piece that flows out, is what was once a lava flow at Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji's a big, big volcano. I've been up to the snow line on that one. But what do you think? Okay, so they think the Earth is a living goddess. Each planet is a god of some sort, right? So what would they say about who is Jesus? Right? If he was real, maybe he was a good teacher. Maybe they would teach that, right? Maybe they would say that. Just kind of, right? People say a lot of things about Jesus, right? But they don't. The one thing they don't say is who he really is, which you kind of nailed it, right, Faith?
That's the only way of talking.
Did you say, well, that'll happen? Didn't he? What did you say? That he's what did you say? True God?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is God in the flesh, right? Emmanuel. That L at the end of Hebrew names is short for Elohim. And Elohim is the God of creation.
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel means walking among us or with us, right? So the God of creation walking among us. Jesus is the God of creation walking among us, right? That's who we teach. So, is he really human or just mostly human?
Mostly. What?
Is he really fully human or just mostly human or partly human?
All the above.
Well, okay, sort of.
I mean, 2 and 3 are kind of the same thing.
Which one? What do you think he is? 100% human, 50% human, 25, 36 and 3/4. What do you think?
As I said
My
before,
work is 105%.
He's only 25% human?
he's 100% human, 100% God.
There you go. Now, we have a big fancy word for that in the church. It's called the hypostatic union. You'll be tested on that. No, you won't. It's great. It's this paradox. How can Jesus be 100% human and 100% God?
He's
Yeah.
two,
Because
he's
he is
two, he equals 100%.
The answer.
Because of physics.
Yeah,
Oh.
the answer is.
He violates physics, right? Because he's 100% plus 100% equals 100%. But, you know, so,
You failed the
so,
question, it was really easy.
yeah. So the hypostatic union is that, right, this is all crazy Latin stuff that we should probably throw out, but we keep it around for some reason. Is that Jesus is 100% God and 100% human. So when Satan tempted him, was he really tempted to sin?
No.
His human part was truly tempted to sin, but did he sin? No. Right, yeah, because he's 100% God. He could, right? So he remained perfect, but he was still tempted just like us. And he gets how we're living, right? It says, believe it or not, I'm on this thing on page 9.
Oh, you're reading out of this thing.
Well, I'm just about to get there, yeah. So people at Jesus' time, as he's walking the earth, are asking questions like, who is this Jesus guy? Now, there's some things we learn about this era outside of the Bible. Like, there's lots of documents being written. We have many of them. They're just not part of the Bible, right? The Bible is just a collection of history books. So there's other stuff. We know that there were at least 7 other people walking around named Jesus who claimed to be sent by God. Yeah. So when you read the Bible, here's something kind of interesting. As you read through the 4 Gospels, sometimes they just say Jesus, but if they're talking to somebody who's outside of kind of the disciples of Jesus,
It'd be a lowercase, right?
no, not that.
No.
Yeah, it's still an actual name. Just like, right, people in Mexico, Jesus, right? Jesus. But when they're talking to people outside of the disciples, they say Jesus from Nazareth. That Jesus. Not, Jesus from Austin or Jesus from Lansing, but Jesus from Nazareth. Jesus of Nazareth. That the reason they changed it is because there were other people named Jesus who were claiming to be sent by God. And this is just another Jesus. That was a really common name for people. And so in the Bible, when you read, especially the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you'll see that designator from Nazareth or of Nazareth, depending on the translation, because they're talking about, we mean Jesus, the one from Nazareth. Except here's the weird thing. He wasn't from Nazareth. Isn't that weird? He didn't sort of grow up there post age 12 or so. But where was he actually born? Bethlehem. Who remembers from last year what that means? A for the day, if you can tell me what Bethlehem means.
I don't remember.
I have failed you. You're going to have to do your first year all over again.
Oh,
House of bread.
Hey,
no. I don't remember.
Did you say that?
I said it had something to do with bread.
Oh, see, if you'd have said that louder, you got A for the day just for being close. All right, yeah, that is house. Bethlehem, house of bread. And Jesus calls himself the bread from heaven. Better than the manna that came during the time in the wilderness, right? So that's the stuff there. But okay, people in that day were asking questions about who is this Jesus from Nazareth guy? Because he says he's from God, but he's doing a whole lot of different stuff that other people aren't doing. Like, people who were born blind can see. People who were born deaf can hear. People who were born with legs so messed up they can't walk are running around dancing, right? He is healing diseases they thought were incurable and were curses from God. There were types of leprosy that people thought if you get that disease, you're cursed by God. You must have done something. And he was saying, you're healed. And then you were. Because it's easy for me to just like smack you in the forehead and say you're healed and go on. But will it happen?
No.
Probably not. But when Jesus said you're healed, you just were. You're healed, right? And so people are asking questions. Who is this Jesus guy, right? Over and over again in the Gospels, that's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, people ask about who Jesus is. Is he a smart teacher, a wise man, a miracle worker, or is he a scam artist? See, I'm convinced there are two kinds of artists. Milwaukee has a lot of art shows and art museums and art galleries. And they will occasionally do these art walks where you just walk through what's called the Third Ward. It's all these artist stuff, right? And you walk in and you see all this different art, and some of it's like $5,000 price tags on this stuff. Here's the thing. Well, yeah, I mean, this is all living artists, right? So it's not like a Rembrandt or something cool, yeah. But so it's all stuff that's been made by people who work in these studios, right? They're selling their stuff. And some of it you walk in and you think, I could not do that, right? Like if there was a painting like that banner on the wall there, right? I could never do that. And trust me, I can't draw a line. It's just not within my skill set. Yeah. Yeah. So somebody did that. I think, well, that's probably worth money because that took time. They had to take some time to learn that skill and to hone it. They are an artist. Then you walk into a different one, and what you see is some pieces of cardboard painted with iridescent spray paint glued to a piece of other cardboard, and then like a bolt. And I kid you not, I saw that. It was all like fluorescent orange and green, and there was a bolt all glued to a piece of cardboard, and the price tag on it was $3,000.
Oh my God.
And there were people who bought stuff out of the gallery. Now,
It is even.
could you glue cardboard to cardboard and glue a bolt to cardboard?
Yeah.
So why is that person an artist?
Because he added some special detail.
Con artist.
Yeah.
He has again practiced a skill I do not possess, selling garbage to people for ridiculous amounts of money. Right? So people wonder, is this Jesus just a con artist? See, doing abracadabra, holy smoking stuff, right? Or is he, how about this? Maybe he's just a lunatic. What if he's just a nut? This guy has delusions of grandeur. He actually thinks he's God, right? Or maybe he's just a liar, right? The scam artist thing, right? But if he's not a lunatic and he's not a liar,
Then what is he?
then what is he? Right? And so, if you get brought a Bible, crack it open to Matthew 16 verse 13. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, right? In the New Testament, Matthew chapter 16.
Is that in the back? That's
It's right in the middle.
right.
I'm gonna let that pass.
If you find Psalms, keep going.
Matthew 16.
I didn't say that.
16, Matthew, what is it? Matthew, 16, verse 13.
Matthew 16.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 16.
Oh my gosh, I cannot find
Matthew, not Mark.
No, Matthew is before Mark, though, that helps. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. 16, verse
Why
13.
did it say that? I'm close.
What is
I
16?
can't even find it.
Say
I found 13.
Ezekiel, come this way forward. Start above right above there. What do you have there?
Verse.
There you go, Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 16.
16, what?
Matthew chapter 16, we're going to start at verse 13.
Oh, I got it.
All right, victory.
Wait,
If you didn't bring it, don't fret. But
Okay.
yeah. So, because there's some crazy words here. I'll read them for you, but I want you
Thank you.
to follow along. How can you not pronounce Caesarea Philippi? Where is it? So, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, now you need to understand something, right? The problem is we keep changing languages. We've got Latin, we've got Greek, we've got Hebrew, and all this, right? It'd be easier if we just changed it all to English. Caesarea Philippi, Caesar Philip. Emperor of Rome, Philip.
But
This,
they like to make it complicated.
yeah, well, they think they're making it easier. But, so this is where the military garrison was for the Roman military police presence, right? This is where if you were naughty, a battalion of soldiers would be deployed to come kill you, right? So from a Jewish perspective, this literally is next door to hell. Caesarea Philippi was the last place a Jew would want to go because it probably meant you'd get killed and no one would care, right? So he comes into the district of Caesarea Philippi and he's sitting there and he's looking at, right there it is, with the mighty gates of this gate closed except for those who are allowed to enter. And he asks his disciples, who do people say that the Son of Man is? And they said, some say you're John the Baptist, meaning they believed in reincarnation, right? Others say you're Elijah or Jeremiah, one of the prophets, right? Then he says, yeah, but, okay, so who do you say that I am? And Simon Peter says, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. That's kind of what Faith said. That's what she got named for the day. Victory.
Yay.
The rest of you guys are losers because you didn't speak up. Come on, speak up, right? Then Jesus said, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah. That means Simon, son of Jonah, not Jonah and the big fish.
Oh, okay.
But Peter's dad's name was Jonah.
I thought it was a whale.
Yeah, not quite. No, it was a big fish, not a whale. That's often mistold. People think a whale because a whale's so big, but a whale's throat couldn't swallow an orange.
What?
Yeah, it's really, a whale's throat is very small.
What?
Yes. So as far as anything that, unless God created a special fish, I mean, something like a nurse shark or a whale shark, which are actually fish, can actually, I mean, they're big enough to swallow a person whole. But whales as big as they are, have very, very small throats. What they do is they take in big, humongous scoops of water, they close and they push all the water out of their teeth, and then all the shrimp and the krill and whatever else, plankton, gets filtered out, and then they swallow that slowly, little gulps at a time.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Pardon?
What animal are you talking?
Whales.
Oh.
How come the biggest animal on Earth is like the smallest?
Yeah, he's the smallest critters, I know. Yeah. But anyway, Simon, which is, and also remember this, Peter is a nickname Jesus gives to Simon. As you read about Peter, you'll find he's kind of a big hulking guy. You guys, anybody know Rocky, right? He's a big guy. Yeah. That's kind of like Peter. Big guy, big and strong, right? So Jesus calls him the Rock. Petros. See, we keep changing languages, and that's why it gets messed up. Peter means the Rock.
Peter?
What?
Yeah, Peter means the Rock. So Jesus is calling this guy Simon Rocky. So he says, but now he's using his formal name. And what happens when your mom uses your middle name?
I remember.
Yeah, you know, something important is about to be said, and it's best to start listening. Right? Okay, what is it? Okay. Still, if it's being used, you know something important is about to be said. He doesn't call him the Rock, right? He says, Simon Bar-Jonah, gives his full name. Flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are the Rock, right? And you are Peter, and on this rock, your confession, I will build my church. And remember what they're standing there looking at. What they would refer to as the gates of hell. The gates of hell will not prevail against it.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, right? Now when you think about that, so how often do gates attack you? Yeah, think about that. He says,
had quite a few gates attack.
you are Peter, and on this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So, do gates run at you and attack you?
Okay,
Yes.
If they're shutting and you get that like a cow pushing or something, right?
Never absolutely shut your hands in the gate.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah. But you know, think of these great mighty city gate walls. They don't come out to you and get you, right?
No.
Jesus is talking about his church is going to go defeat Satan. So the gates of hell will not prevail. The gates of hell will fall before you. Even mighty, reinforced Caesarea Philippi with garrisons of battle-hardened Roman soldiers cannot stand against the church I will build. Right? Wow. Yeah, see, we lose all this because we got all these different languages going on. We got all these different contexts going on. We don't know all the details. But that's what Jesus is talking about. That's why he brought them there. Because this was the scariest place that people in that day could travel. If you were going to Caesarea Philippi, it's probably because you were under arrest, and it's probably because you were naughty, and they were going to hurt you a lot. You'd be lucky to get out alive. Matter of fact, sometimes
Oh, like
if
that
you
one
got out
girl
alive,
that was put in the Coliseum.
yeah, like I don't remember her name again. Anyway, yeah, like that, yeah. If you were getting dragged up to Caesarea Philippi, you were in a world of hurt. You might wish you didn't live because they would torture you so much, right? So scary place. So Simon, right? Peter says, "You are the Christ." Once again, we keep changing languages. So here's the question that helps you get it all sorted. Were Adam and Eve Christians?
How? I mean, they probably didn't have a name for it at that point. But yeah.
Well, they did have a name for it. The problem is we keep changing languages, even in the Bible. So in Genesis 3:15, God said, one will come, he's talking to Satan, one will come who will crush your head. Who is, right? Who is that one? You will bruise his heel, but he will crush your head. Who is that one that was promised to come? Jesus. He was called in Hebrew, Messiah. Right? So did Adam and Eve believe in the Messiah to come? You look at the very first verses of chapter 4, and
They
they think,
thought that it was their son.
yeah, Cain was the guy. Yeah.
Excuse me. Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
He killed his brother.
Cain killed Abel,
Yeah, no.
and then there were lots of sons and daughters. We only know the names of 3. Cain, who killed his brother Abel, and then there was Seth. That's all we know. But so they believed in the Messiah to come. So in Greek, how do you say Messiah? Jesus. Christ.
Oh.
Christ means Messiah. So were Adam and Eve Messiahans? Did they believe in the Messiah? Yes. Were Adam and Eve Christians? Did they believe in the Christ? Yes.
Oh, so yes, they were.
See, they were Christians. Yeah. See, that's the problem. I know. Wouldn't it be easy if King Nimrod hadn't tried to build that tower at the city of Babel, and now we all talk about everybody babbling because we can't understand each other, right? You guys probably see that in school, right? The newer immigrants and refugees, their accents are real thick and sometimes even struggle speaking English. No, you don't get kind of that too much?
No.
Oh, see, we get that at Ellis. I was helping out John, I don't remember his name. But with Youth for Christ, we get kids coming in who could barely speak English, couldn't read a word, because they were just new. And I guess I expected you to counter some of that in classes and things.
No.
Okay, all right,
To
okay.
be fair, we only have half the school.
Well, that's true right now. Yeah. Not so crazy, yeah.
We only have 5 classes a day.
Yeah. But anyway, so Simon Peter says, "You are the Christ," right? If he says you are the Christ, he's saying you are the one promised to Adam and Eve, right? You are the Messiah. You are the Christ, the Son of God, right? And that's who Peter says Jesus is. You're the one who's supposed to come and save the whole world. That's a pretty powerful thing, right? That's who Jesus really is, right? It says there in whatever that color is, that's kind of reddish and brownish and purplish, depending on how well the copy worked. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. So he is called God, and he agrees. Now, does he have delusions of grandeur? Does he just, oh yeah, that's good. Okay, if you say I'm God, I must be God, right? Jesus says, I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. What is the rock? It is the confession, right? Now there's some churches that teach that the rock is Rocky, right? Peter, right? And that he was the first leader of the church. The problem with that was he wasn't. James was. And not James the disciple, but James the half-brother of Jesus was actually the first leader of the church. Mary and Joseph had kids after Jesus is born.
Oh.
Yeah. So is Jesus biologically the son of Joseph?
No.
But he was often referred to as Jesus bar Joseph, Jesus bar Joseph, Jesus son of Joseph. But that's not who he really was. That's just who people perceived him to be. He was really Jesus bar Theos, Jesus son of God, right? But then we have James and Judah, the ones we know, but there are others. And James is actually the first leader of the church. So be that as it may. Jesus wasn't building his church on Peter. Jesus was building his church on the confession of faith, right? Why are you children of God? How many of you are Jewish? Me either. So how can you be, I mean, the children of God are the people of Israel. We're not Jewish. We're not descendants of Israel. So how can we be children of God? Are we children of God biologically because we're a descendant of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel? No. We're children of God because what did you say?
Through faith.
Yes. Brilliant. You are a Lutheran. We are saved by grace through faith. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's actually what my sermon was about on Romans chapter 10 today, was just that fact that we are people of God. You are sons and daughters of God, the God, King, Emperor of the created universe and the author of all things. And you are his child. That makes you pretty important, doesn't it? Probably more important than you even think of yourself. But that's how God thinks of you, right? And as a child of God, right, you are that child because of the confession of faith. That's what makes you a child of God. Jesus is the Son of God who takes away the sin of the world. So double A for the day. Can you tell me who said that first? Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. John Baptizo. John the Baptist. See, language isn't so crazy. That was right. Yes.
I was so confused when you said
Yeah, John the Baptist, right? John has been told by God, when you see this one guy and this dove comes and lands on him, that is the Holy One promised to Adam and Eve. And John baptizes Jesus, and what happens? A dove comes down and lands on Jesus. After that, Jesus goes off in the wilderness for a month and a week, and he's tempted by the devil during that time. And then when he comes back, he's walking by where John is working, and John says, "That's the guy right there. I'm baptizing him. That's the guy." Actually, he said, "Everybody look, that is the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." That's a big, think about that. From their perspective, if you committed a sin, right, you had to offer a sacrifice, sometimes a lamb, right? And that covered up your sin. But he says the Lamb who takes away the sin, but not just of one person, but of the entire world. That was an amazing and enormous statement that we don't fully grasp from our perspective. But that's who Jesus is. So in the box there it says, okay, the Christian faith is entirely built on this confession, that Jesus is the Savior of the world. This is the very core foundation of the Christian faith, right? On that, the rest of the Christian faith that you confess and are learning to confess better, that's what it's about. That said, what are other questions people have about Jesus or about Christianity or Christians? So this happens to me from time to time, even here in Austin. I was talking actually to a man, now this is almost 2 years ago. His name is Muhammad. He's Muslim. And he said, so tell me about your faith. He didn't know what we really believed. If he asked you, what would you tell him? Good. Yeah, we believe in one true God, Jesus. Who's Jesus? The Savior. What else do we believe?
That he saves our soul.
Okay, that he saves our souls. That's a good start. Yeah, yeah. No, that's right. You don't have to be brilliant, right? That's just say what you believe, right? Those were interesting conversations. He actually sent his kids here to Case a few times. He sent his kids here for vacation Bible school. Right? He was, and he and his wife was here once. He never came to church, but his wife came a couple of times. And I don't know where they are by faith. They're probably not hardcore Muslim. And by hardcore, we have to be careful just because of what's going on in the world. An Orthodox Muslim isn't necessarily a terrorist who wants to cut your head off, right? I have met many, many, many Muslim people, profoundly kind, gentle, generous, and good people, right? Just understand that. What you see in the news is the worst of the worst. And you can find, sadly, Christians who act the same way. That's what's really horrible. So there are bad people, and there are bad people who do bad things in the name of any religion, pick your favorite one, sadly, even Christianity. But Muhammad was a very good man, a very gentle man, and I've met many others like that. Sometimes they're Christians, but they can't tell you. Just because you get cut off from your family, right? And that has to happen very slowly. Any of you know Pastor Lowell Wessel?
No.
He's way out in Spring Valley. He works with some folks up in Rochester because he's very close there, and is often baptizing people who were Muslims who have become Christian. He had a really neat experience. About a year ago, he baptized a lady, and then he baptized a man, right? Both of whom were Muslim. Well, they got married. Neither one of them told their family they were Christians. But the wedding was in a church, and they said, we want you to tell them at our wedding. He's got a church full of Muslims, and he is marrying two people whom they don't know are Christians, and he is about to tell them.
Oh my.
How would you feel? You know what? He just nailed it. He just proclaimed Jesus Christ and Christ crucified for the sins of the people. He explained it in really simple terms, and then he got to say, and these two have come before me so that I can tell you they have been baptized into the Christian faith, and they believe in Jesus as their Savior, right? And these two turned around and said, this is what we believe. Some of the people were angry, but not angry like, oh, Lord, let's blow ourselves out. Just how dare you leave your faith? This is your faith. This is your family. But other people were like, well, so let me hear more, right? But wow, what a cool thing, right? And that kind of stuff, they can't talk about how many people, even the numbers of people they baptize, but it's like tens of baptisms a year of people who were Muslim who are now becoming Christian. We don't have much for Muslims here in Boston because this is pork town, right? And they don't eat pork either. They consider pork dirty, just like an Orthodox Jew. That's why there's no synagogues or mosques in Austin, right? Because they don't want to worship, next door to where they're getting pork ready for the food. It just doesn't work with them real well, right? But some of them live here, but the ones who do live here probably aren't real hardcore into their faith. They aren't somebody who goes to worship every week, right? And so when you talk to them, just understand this. We have a far better message, right? How do they get to heaven? If you're Muslim, you get to heaven by holding to the 5 pillars, doing the work that Allah commands. And by the way, Allah is just Aramaic for God. So doing the work that God commands, right? And then when you die, maybe you will get in. Not you will. There's no guarantee. Maybe you'll get in. It depends on, basically, I'm diminishing it a bit, but basically, if he's in a good mood and you catch him on a good day, then you get in. right? I'm diminishing it a bit, but that's really it. It's sort of like however he feels. Maybe he feels like, I'm not gonna let anybody today. Sorry, died on the wrong day. Pick a different one next time, but there is no next time, right? So how do you get into heaven? What? Believing, following the Christian faith, yeah. By faith, right? And is that a guarantee?
Yes.
If you believe and are baptized, will you really be saved? Every time? Mark 16:16 says so, right? Yeah. And we believe the book, right? So we have a better message. You want to know how to get to heaven? Believe in Jesus and be baptized. Game over. You win. Guaranteed, no questions, no doubt. Because God is the one who does the work for you. You can't do the work for yourself, right? So we have a way better message. And it's not all about work, and try to earn God's favor. It is God loved you so much, he came and did the work for you. Way better message. And honestly, it is a far better message than my Satanist friends had who went to covet. It's a far better message than my Wiccan friends who worship Gaia. It's a far better message than my Druid friends who worship trees and rocks, right? Honest and for true. You know, kind of like the Force, right, in Star Wars, right? You watch that.
No, yes, and never watched her.
You've never seen
You guys all depression.
I have never seen
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. That is such an American iconic thing. But anyway, right, there's this sort of power that emanates from stuff. That's what they believe, right? There's power that emanates from stuff, and from that power we can use it for good or bad things, right? That's kind of the true thing. But we always have a far better message. And in my conversations with those folks, we actually got to a point where they said, you know, Christmas is coming, and we know Christmas is really about this Christ thing. So could you teach us something about what Christmas is about? You know, like do a Bible study or something. And on the outside, I'm like, well, check my calendar. I don't know if I'll have time. But yeah, I'm sure I can work something. And inside, I'm like, yes, right? This is awesome. And I had 4 of them show up, and we did just a short little, you know, kind of 3-week thing, and sort of just introduce this is what Christmas is about the Christ, right? Mass means celebration of the Christ. Mass means celebration. Yeah.
Did not know that.
So like in Catholic Church, you go to Mass, right? The celebration of the Lord's Supper. Mass, the celebration, right? Christ, Mass, celebration of the Christ. And the reason it's backwards is because we speak backwards. English is backwards from everybody else.
Really?
Yeah. We do it all backwards. See, they haven't watched Star Wars, so I can't tell them we talk like Yoda.
Oh,
I mean, well,
I understand it.
Oh, okay, good. So like, right,
I've never seen that.
right, Yoda doesn't say, I'm gonna go to the store. He says,
store I don't go to.
yes, store I am going to, yes. Or to the store.
I would be going.
That's it, yes. Because that's how the rest of the planet speaks. So here's my question for you, the one enlightened person. Have you watched Star Wars? We're gonna have to watch Star Wars together.
I watched one movie when I was like 9.
Okay, all right. So Yoda, right, he speaks backwards. So here's my question. When they translate Star Wars into other languages, do they make Yoda talk like us so he's backwards?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Technically,
no.
I don't know.
I'm going with my answer.
I don't even know that.
I don't know the answer, but anyway, so just understand, it doesn't matter what the religion. I have talked to so many people, so many religions. I have talked to profound, hardcore, devout atheists who believe there is no deity or God of any kind. We always have the better message. Just believe that, or go study those religions. I've got 2 books, both about this big, called The Religions of America. You can go through them all and read what they all believe. We have the better message by far. We have an easy message. God did it. And if you like logic, because these guys sort of know that, but you'll learn from me. I love my science. I'm all about using my 5 senses, right? If I can see it, smell it, hear it, touch it, right, taste it, then it's a fact, right? I can use my senses to perceive it. I like my science, right? So let's just go with science. Let's just do a little logic. If there's a whole bunch of religions in the world and one stands out as different, in all the religions, I've got to make myself good with God. And one of them, God says, no, I'm going to come make you good with me. One's different. The one that's real will be different, right? Christianity, when it's taught properly, is not like any other religion on the planet. Only in Christianity does God come and do it for us. Huh?
My mom.
Oh, okay. Well, we got 5 minutes almost. So let's see what else we got here. We are not going to get to, but you guys don't have them with you, the creeds. But there are 3 of them, so let me just give you a short version of them. So first we have the Apostles' Creed. And that's the one that you guys studied with Pastor Alana last year for whatever you were able to get through those lessons. Because COVID craziness came. But the Apostles' Creed is the oldest one. It was probably written around, we don't know exactly, but around the year 110, 120. So it's old, right? And it's not a creed written by the apostles. It's a creed that confesses what the apostles taught. And it was basically put together so that if you believe what this creed teaches, then you're a Christian. This is what the apostles taught. If you believe something outside of what this creed confesses, you're not a Christian. You need to make an adjustment if you want to be one, right? The next document that was written was called the Hodidache tu Agiu Apostolou, the teachings of the holy apostles, right? And that also was not written by the apostles, but it was what they taught. And it was the first catechism in the Christian church. Then the next thing that was written was another creed. You've all heard of perhaps the Nicene Creed? It's the one in this church we use whenever we have communion, right? The longer one. Huh? Yeah, you've heard of it. Yeah. So what happened is they go to a city called Nicaea near Italy, and they have this big church council with important pastors from all over the world. And they say, we got a problem. We got some people teaching some crazy stuff that Jesus was created by God. He's not really God. And so they write the Nicene Creed, the creed from Nicaea. The guy who wrote it, Athanasius. Okay? Now,
What's the title of another creed?
but that's the name of the Athanasian Creed. Athanasius did not write the Athanasian Creed. The Athanasian Creed was named after him because he did so much of the heavy lifting at the Council of Nicaea, right? So they write a bigger one. There's still people who are trying to say, no, Jesus isn't really God. And this one we only use once a year because it's so long, right? It goes on and on and on and on, making it clear in every possible way you can imagine, and a few you haven't thought of, that Jesus is God. And that's it, right? Those are the 3, right? Another big fancy word, ecumenical creeds, meaning universally accepted creeds. Everybody accepts these creeds, right? As the Christian church. There are some weird exceptions we won't get into because I have to teach you words like the filioque. It means the son, and the son, but we won't worry about that right now. Basically, if you are Christian, you receive and accept. This is what you confess, the 3 ecumenical creeds, the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, the Athanasian Creed. And some of the stuff that's further back in the papers we didn't get to is talking about which creed teaches which thing. Matter of fact, why don't we look at that just real quick. On page 10 of this thing. The first one, Jesus is either just a man or just a spirit. He is not God. That is answered by the Nicene Creed, right? He is true God and true man, right? The Apostles' Creed states Jesus actually existed in history as a real person, crucified under Pontius Pilate, born of the Virgin Mary, right? Historical facts that actually happened, and that this false teaching Jesus is not equal to the Father. That's what the Athanasian Creed really answers. Jesus is equal to the Father and the Holy Spirit, right? 3 persons, 1 God, right? So that's what the creeds confess. That's what the Christian Church confesses.
watched a movie about that, about like the crucifixion. Ben-Hur.
Oh, yeah, Ben-Hur, sure, yeah. That's an interesting movie, yeah. Hur is actually a person in the Bible, but didn't live at the time of Jesus. Ben simply means son. So son of Hur, right? Ben-Hur means son of, and that's weird because son of Hur is actually a him. Because Hur is H-U-R, right? Not Hur, H-E-R, but Hur is the name of his father, Ben-Hur. But that's a really good movie, it's a long one. And big, awesome horse race. Yeah, big, awesome horse
But
race.
it is.
It's an epic thing. When you think about it, they didn't have any of the computers and technology at the time, right, to do what they can do now. This thing
I
will,
love it when the people are running for that.
yeah,
Before the horses come back around.
This is the Luther seal. This is the representation of the Lutheran Church. Martin Luther designed this. We'll talk about this more, but just so you know what that is. What else do I have here for you? Probably that's mostly about it. I had a quiz for you. I got a minute and a half. We can do it.
A minute.
Pull out this thing with the A and the B on it. Yeah. So, a creed is a statement of what one believes, teaches, and confesses. True or false? Very good, true. The Apostles' Creed was written by Martin Luther in the 1500s. False. It was written about the year. It was written in the 120.
Written by him, just not in the 15.
Well, yeah. Originally written by other folks, yeah. Believe only means to know in your mind.
False.
Correct, false. It means it's part of who you are to really believe it. Creed is from the Latin word credo, meaning I believe.
Yes.
Very good. One can be saved by someone else's faith.
No.
Good answer. God the Father defends, guards, and protects only believers.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, true. False. No, the way you're looking makes it seem like it's false.
Oh, see, when you know I like to just play with it. Did Jesus come to save only believers, or did Jesus come to save everybody? Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
False.
God made all things with his hands.
Yes. Well, no. Well,
How are we considering?
Yes, and
Very good. I like that you're picking that apart. How did God create?
Commanded it.
There you go. Yeah. Now, just so you know, they say yes here. But he actually did it with his voice. So I'm not sure I like their answer.
Plants and crops and.
In the sense of creator, God is the father of all human beings.
yeah.
Good answer. The only difference between humans and animals is that humans are smarter.
No.
No, because we all know dogs are smarter right now. No, you're right.
That's actually wrong.
Yeah, right. Right, we have something they don't. We have a soul, right? And they don't. It matters little what you believe, just so long as you believe.
Or keep on wood.
It matters little what you believe, just so you believe. As long as you believe in something, that's good enough.
No.
Because I believe that purple platypuses are my savior.
Pearl. I want to see a Bible.
Yeah, I mean, and right, so being sincere isn't good enough. You can be sincerely wrong, right? Referring to God's work, create, always means to make something out of something else. We didn't really talk about this. God created ex nihilo. More Latin. I love Latin. Latin's also. I almost know none of it. But ex means none. Very good. Out of nothing. Ex nihilo. Out of ex is actually out of nihilo is nothing. God created out of nothing. He didn't say, "Oh, good, I got a ball of dirt. Let's make something." He said, "Let me create some dirt." Right. So to believe means to trust. If you believe in Jesus, do you trust Jesus?
Yeah.
True.
So would that be true or false?
True. And then we did the,
True or false?
pardon?
What's 10 true?
10. 10 is false.
Okay.
It does matter what you believe, right? You can't believe in the salvation of purple platypuses, right? Because you just
I
can't.
mean, unless it becomes an actual religion.
Well, actually, I
Interesting.
yeah, that'd be weird, yeah. I've seen some weird religions though. I kid you not, there was a 501c3 Church of Bob.
Bob.
Yes. And Bob was at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And mostly he only let girls join.
Ah.
Yeah. But he was a legitimate church and he was sick and wrong. It was just, but right, yeah, religion can be anything you want, right? I mean, any of you remember the name Jim Jones? You probably do. Jim Jones, yeah. He was a guy who took people down to Guyana and then they all drank poison Kool-Aid and killed themselves.
Oh, I see that guy.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
No clue who that is.
Yeah, okay, well, that doesn't, anyway, that was in the 60s or something, 70s. But religion can be just about anything. But the only way you're saved is by believing the one true God. All right. Vamos, bring your Bibles. And catechisms, pardon?
Next week? Should we bring this next week?
No, you don't have to bring any of the paperwork. I was gonna print out your 50 things, but the copier freaked out on me and just copied out a bunch of paper I would throw away. So don't need to toss that one. Yeah, you can just toss all the 50 things you have. Just throw them out. That'll make it easy. And I will give you new ones next week, and I'll give everybody an A for the first one, which was about Christmas. Since, Christmas is a gift, I just gave you a gift. Free A. There you go.
Yay.
So, yeah, well, that's okay. What the 50 things thing is we talked about a little bit the first day, and they know, it's just you read a chapter of the Bible, answer 10 questions. The questions are trick questions unless you read it. If you read it, it's a breeze. Yeah.
Not physics questions.
Pardon?
Not physics questions.
Not physics, usually not. You never know what I'm gonna throw in there.
So I can throw
Please,
this.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, I want it.
Well, if I do, only because I'm teaching the Christian faith, right? Like here's one you can ponder. If I say, how does gravity work? You can tell me, like how it right? The earth sucks me in somehow. Right?
Question, if you were to push someone off a building, could you just say that gravity was gravity?
There you go, it's gravity, right? I didn't kill him, gravity did. What? Why does gravity work?
Because breathe.
That's a reason. The answer is nobody knows. Nobody knows why the earth holds people to it. Because it's not magnetic, because I'm not metal. Nobody knows why.
Maybe it's
Why?
kind of magnetic, but
What
it's
is
different than a building.
And just catch this, right? The gravity of the sun reaches so far out, it has taken 30 years for the first thing that we sent out from Earth to finally leave the gravitational pull of the sun, called Voyager 1. Voyager 2 is about to leave in the next year or two. They just left the gravitational pull of the sun. It took 30 years to get out.
What?
Nice.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Huh.
30 years in a straight line, leaving the sun, and it Voyager 1, just last year, left the gravitational pull of the sun.
So it really didn't make it far. Yeah.
Now, yeah, it depends on your perspective, yeah. When you start comparing to galaxies or, the known universe, it hasn't gotten very far in 30 years. But anyway.
So how far is it?
I don't know the numbers, lots of miles, more than 5.
Why don't we get to do fire stuff
Like what?
like the other kids do?
What do they get? Oh, I don't know, did you guys not get those?
I
We did
did
at
it.
one point.
Okay.
That?
Yeah.
I did not get that.
Look on the table as you leave, the table by the dividers. There may be, if your name's not there,
This is for the Sunday school.
yeah. Oh, did they not give them the confirmation kids?
Oh,
Oh, where'd you get that one? Oh, okay, all right. Well, because you get a class with me. Why would you do that?
Yeah, but like,
All right, guys, I will let you go, gather your parents and get them safely home.
Okay.
usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, usually, but, So we'll see you next week. Next week we'll have different things. Next week we'll actually have Bibles. Hopefully all the supplies will show up. Leave your student information stuff here if you didn't give it to me.
I did. I
Brilliant.
really remembered when
You're baptized. Brilliant.
it was
Excellent.
a month ago.
Mom did, you're not allowed to have.
Okay, very cool. That's about when I was.
She dug through her entire closet to find the thing that said when I was baptized.
Oh, I had a hanging all the time.
Oh, that's you, yeah. That is good. That is very good. You know what? Can somebody catch Cindy? She dropped something, it looks like. Can you see if you can catch her before she leaves? Thank you.
Actually, no. That thing was in there on the floor when I walked in here.
Oh, it was? Oh, then it's mine.
Haley!
I thought it looked familiar, but it was sitting right by her chair. But I remembered I was unpacking my computer. It's actually mine. Yeah.
Babe!
Faith told me, no, you told me it was sitting by the chair, right? And I was unpacking that, or somebody did. I was unpacking my computer by that chair, so it probably fell out of my bag. I thought it looked familiar, but it was sitting by her chair.
October 4th,
Yep,
I don't know what we're doing.
okay.
I have a rehearsal, I don't know how long to go.
Okay, rehearsal for what?
Halloween walk.
Halloween.
4 months.
Okay. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, folks, appreciate it. Don't pass out. We have a rule, no one is allowed to test gravity on my watch. You cannot fall. It's a rule. You fall, you do not pass confirmation.
That's why I almost fell off my chair.
See, be careful, we got rules. No one's allowed to fall,
Why?
just because I'm that way. I have to figure out how I'm gonna add
I accidentally got makeup.
3 more chairs. We'll figure it out. We'll probably push it
Oh,
out.
I have to
Yeah.
I had to make it both sides down.
More tables.
More tables, yeah, that's what we'll do, more
Already
tables.
put it down.
I want 1 table per person, so you guys can leave your masks off. We'll sort it out. That's why, right? You
First
start
weekend
running.
of October is gonna be so rushing.
Is it, yeah, yeah.
First week.
Oh, and by the way, if you haven't heard, Katie and Kyla were officially adopted on Friday, yeah, yeah. So they got their name changed on Friday, so they are officially our kids forever. That is very cool. That took a long time, this whole COVID craziness.
My grandma has one.
I was watching TikTok.
What?
I said my grandma has one of those.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I wasn't.
but,
I was
anyway,
talking on my phone.
it's good stuff.
Oh, boy, so October 4th, I have rehearsal for Matchbox. And then that Wednesday is the first day of youth group. And then that Thursday is the first day of theater group.
I gotta get hold
I got
of
invited to.
Alana,
And
find out
that
why.
Friday and Saturday,
Majority
I
was-
have, we perform. You know, in the woods that night. That's a major time.
Not really.
I'm kind of excited.
Wednesday said,
Why?
Brownfield is having one. His confirmation.
No,
Bye-bye.
he and I are joining together, so he doesn't have anybody else, unless he's doing something, when somebody can't be done on Sunday.
No, Wednesday he's gonna have it.
He's having confirmation on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, that could be, that's something.
I think, he said he had like,
Yeah,
4 kids
yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, all right, cool.
and they all live in Brownfield.
Oh, okay.
One of them lives like right across the street, I guess, from the church.
Oh, yeah, yeah, well, good,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's like, you don't think, he says like, they just ain't gonna let him bring the kids all the way here.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's good, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
So that's probably the reason.
Sure, well, then that makes sense, yeah. No, last time we talked was a month ago, and then we were gonna do it all together, but, that is good. I'm glad he's got more students, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's 4.
Wow, that's actually really exciting.
Yeah, he's in,